After the Louisiana Purchase, there's a wide array of land west of the Appalachian Mountains that Americans could go settle in. They were going to go anyway, but the rate of westward expansion was greatly sped up due to the Industrial Revolution. What the Industrial Revolution was a time period somewhere after the Revolutionary War and before the Civil War, where the introduction of machines led to our ability to create factories and processing plants to get our goods cheaper, quicker, and in some cases even stronger. This is very important to the American adventurer. It allowed us to travel from areas that were not the West over into the West. This is my Appalachian Mountain chain, in case you didn't know. One of the most important inventions to the South in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia was the cotton gin. The cotton gin is a machine that reaches down inside of little cotton bulbs and pulls out the seed. Now, if you've ever tried to do this by hand, it is a very time-consuming, very frustrating process. The cotton gin actually allowed cotton processing plants to produce 50 times the amount of cotton in a day that they used to be able to do. One machine could make 50 times the amount of cotton that one person could do in a day. Can you imagine a machine that would speed up your job so that it can do in one day what it took you nearly 2 months to do? It's crazy to think about. Another important textile machine that was created during the Industrial Revolution was the cotton spinning machine. And it literally took all this cotton crop that was now, didn't have seeds in it due to the cotton gin, and spun it into fabric strings and fabric threads that were then later woven into cloth. This could happen at a rate that was 100 times faster than when a room full of old ladies could do it in. Very efficient stuff for back in the day. Both of these machines were hydro-powered, which means that they were water-powered. There was no electricity back in the 1820s. This had to be done by mechanical cranks that were moved by water, which is why a lot of towns and a lot of our cities actually sprung up right along the waterway. Other parts of industry that were important in the westward expansion were iron processing. Okay, we'd been able to process iron and metals for some time. I mean, shoot, when you think about it, back in medieval times, King Arthur had iron armoring and swords, but we found ways that could make iron processing cheaper, allow us to crank more out, making it faster, and making it stronger. When iron became more readily available, it could be used in other goods, and the cost of those goods came down so that the average American who was adventuring into the West to start a new life could use it. Things like pickaxes and shovels became cheaper. Steel plows and iron plows became cheaper as well. Another machine that changed adventuring out west was the lathe. This is one of those wood machines, I'm sure you've seen a picture of it before, where they take like a table leg and they put it in the machine and it spins it and then it carves the leg real quick. This allowed what used to take 2 months worth of furniture work, for example, and you could bust it out in a week. It also improved the quality of wheel making for wagons, tongues for oxen, other parts that farmers and explorers needed as they headed out and west on the Oregon Trail or other trails that they went along. But all this machine spinning and all this iron processing and all able to make wood parts, what that really led to was innovations in transportation. Okay? We can now produce iron cheaper, and Watt, a man named Watt, was one of the first person to produce a steam engine. His steam-powered engine they figured out quickly, could be hooked to the back of a boat, and instead of having a sail-powered boat, a steam-powered paddle boat could go all the time as long as you had coal to keep the fires hot. It was much faster. It made transporting goods down the Mississippi River or down other waterways quicker and easier. Matter of fact, it led to many canals being dug because we said, hey, we got this technology, now let's make some waterways that we can get these boats down. Again, the whole idea behind the Industrial Revolution is that it made goods cheaper and it made us get there faster. Now here's the biggie. Now we have steam-powered engines, We have cheap, readily available iron. We have wood parts that can be processed faster. The big shift happened in between 1820 to the mid-1830s. Steam engines, cheaper iron, railroads. We now had the tools and the technology we need to make this complex railroad industry that stretched out across the eastern United States. Matter of fact, it was this innovations in railroad technology and the interconnectedness that we found with having a railroad system that allowed the North to win the Civil War. Later on, after the Civil War, this idea of connecting the two oceans in a transcontinental railroad really caused America to explode forth. The big idea is, the thing you really need to take home is that the Industrial Revolution allowed us to create goods quicker and cheaper, and allowed us to move people to different places faster and more efficiently. That's how we won the West.